that you had this jug on board third, and you haven't really addressed how you're going to deal with them through the spin.
Oh, so there's a Dragon Knight on the other side. This is one of the oldest counters to the puck. A lot of tower damage.
DK crushes, absolutely crushes this.
Because there's no kill threat on side of puck. He just needs to play well first 3 levels. What are we looking at? Yeah, I like Dragon Knight.
Does DK just crush the puck, or
nah,
is there more
he's
to
not
it
gonna crush him, but he's gonna do fine. Most of the times, melee heroes do bad against range ones, but Dragon Knight has a high armor, high regen, and
most importantly,
strength, so.
he's one of the few heroes against a puck that is going to have kill threat on the puck, but most of the time not vice versa.
Well, let's look at everything as a whole really quickly here. We know that we have one team coming in with their coach playing. We do not have solo on the side of VP. We now have the draft in the back of our mind. I want to hear predictions from you guys for this game. We're moving back to best of 3s. If you are just tuning in, best of 3, we're in the upper portion of the bracket. These guys have won throughout the entirety of the tournament. They got to groups and they made it here. Who do you think is going to take the first game of the series? Naj, you have to start.
All right. I said coming into this, I think LGD came into the series with a huge advantage. I like this VP draft a lot, but I'm going to stick to my guns and say LGD.
I'm going to say VP. If Arzik has his own keyboard and a mouse, which he should, and he plays on his own gear, they're going to take this one.
All right. We're not going to get a chance to see right now if he has his own keyboard because we're getting right into the game. Let's see who's going to take this in the upper portion of the bracket.
Yes, we are here. LGD versus Virtus Pro, our upper bracket semi-final game 1. I'm here with the wonderful, the beautiful, and devilishly handsome Kyle.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction.
I'm boosting up your ego, man, because I need you to rack this, just break this game down for me. How do you like the drafts? The panel we're talking at the very end, like the tilting thing for Lacoste was, does he have his own keyboard and mouse? Like, what do you think in this game?
This is good. I like the drafts from both teams. Obviously, Wisp Gyro is its own beast. I don't think this combination needs any explanation.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the key for LGD to win this game. The Gyrocopter has got to become that hyper carry that we all know so well. The draft of VP, I think, is very solid. And before the BKB timings of LGD, they're going to have a pretty big advantage in a team fight, assuming the Lion Puck's magical burst damage isn't able to just, pick off somebody. But Darkseer is going to probably end up with a pipe at some point. Obviously, Jug can spin. DK will be very tanky. This whole team's got a lot of beef, and they have so much to combo on top of a vacuum with the Jakiro and the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, it's actually one of those games, like I've been a bit of a hater against the Juggernaut, as we'll have a bit of a battle for the top rune. Ramses will just spin and grab it, so it will be 3 runes for Virtus Pro versus the 1 of LGD. But yeah, I've been hating a lot on the Juggernaut, but his spin against this magical lineup of LGD early on seems to be just really nicely timed.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see how he transitions into the later game. That's I think, both of our problems for a Juggernaut. How do you transition to be a real hero in the late game?
I think it's easier with a draft like this because you have 2 very high damage support heroes, and your Dragon Knight is no slouch. There's also a lot of combination with the Darkseer, and this is one of those games that I love to see this hero, really. And I think Pasha is one of the best in the world at it. You've got 3 heroes you can Ion Shell throughout the game.
Yeah. Mr. I've solo killed 2 times in the lane earlier yesterday.
Yeah, it's just he's just nasty, and you can do so much in a game like this, and it just activates his 2 cores. The way VP loves to play is very fast, constant pressure, tons of map movement, and connecting. This is not a team that likes to walk at you as 5. They swarm and surround.
Mm-hmm. Like how they made sure she keep the creep wave up, so good play. But keep in mind, FY not playing Tuskar for once. He's going to be over on the IO. We're pulling the creep wave over Pasha and Roger. ES and Darkseer is the oldest school combination you can get for an off-lane Darkseer.
I really loved watching X-Nova play Lion as well. He's one of the few players I've seen.
Oh wow, that's your first blood. Chalice into the trees. He used his orb before to be aggressive.
He's in trouble.
It's a dangerous thing from a puck to do. But now that Ramses has spin down, you see the weakness of the Juggernaut, but when Illusionary Orb won't connect, there is no follow-up.
Yeah, Ramses is in some trouble here, and obviously they could use the Curry to bring out some regen, but...
You can also, do you just level 2 healing ward?
Doesn't have the mana.
Healing ward? That's true, he's short. Needs 140 for the healing ward to function.
And check out mid as well, actually. No one taking a lot of pressure. He does have a salve, however, but still.
Yeah, he's waiting this one out. It's not like Tiny's got a large amount of surprise damage against the DK. DK has 1 point up in Dragon Blood. Ramses, as you jump forward with the Rift, the damage is good. Ramses through the trees. One more attack would do it. The Lion just goes for the Rogue Earth Spike, trying to find the kill, but it will not happen.
This was one of the first times we've cast a game that didn't end up in a try versus try situation, but this is sort of just a product of the way both of these teams want to play. Wisp Gyro hates being in a try lane. You want to just lane together, and same with Darkseer, Earth Spirit. Ideally, you lane together, and then at a certain point, Earth Spirit's going to be able to roam mid, most likely when the Dragon Knight hits 6, or we could do that patented TP top with an Ion Shell, try and make something happen.
I think almost every single Darkseer has been able to creep skip, but like, can you even do that against an IO Gyrocopter? They should be able to zone you out, right?
Yeah, it's much more difficult because they have such a high move speed, and you can't threaten 2 ranged heroes with this much regen either. And you can see the amount of short cooldown magic damage output a Gyrocopter has, especially when you've got a Wisp just giving them free magic mana regen.
You know what, I'm watching Ramses so closely up on top lane. We have no regeneration between the Jakiro and the Juggernaut. He has level 3 now, but still put 2 points up into spin. The Courier is even going to the mid lane. It's not going to the top lane for him. But Ramses was always one of those heroes.
Oh, he's dead?
Oh, yeah, with a stun. I was gonna say he's one of those players that always pushes the extreme because he's playing something like Lifestealer, the very hard to kill style heroes, but this Juggernaut, that's a little too easy.
I won't say that's a good death, Toby, but it's questionable because I think there's a lot of carry players that might, you know...
Bottom lane, they're jumping in with the IO. The tether's already in there from FY. That's going to make it so Armade's very strong, getting back underneath the tower. Roger's got a homing missile on him too. They push the issue way too hard. Even Darkseer stunned up for a little bit, and he'll walk away.
The same thing happens here. Like, up top, is it worth... Like, you can't lane, you're too low, but you do get both enemy heroes in lane to get... You get 4 spells for your death. If he runs back to base or dies to neutrals or something, I feel like that's less effective.
This is so smart. I think the die will get the kill. Roger TP'd over, so he actually didn't TP down the bottom lane. He TP'd to the shrine to try and get the kill on the Lion, because they knew Lion would deny himself to the tier 2 tower.
Yeah. So far, so good for LGD. I think the impetus is really on the side of Virtus Pro to win the mid game, because if you try and go late game against the massive burst potential of a squad like Lion Initiation, a Puck and Tiny, like so much magical burst damage, and then they'll always have the Gyrocopter to rely upon to just spew out damage.
Up on top, Lion's in a lot of trouble. They already did the D-Wall. That's why Lion was inching his way in. Puck will Illusionary Orb his way to safety. My brain's still waking up.
Yeah. And it's another example also of what we saw LGD do yesterday, where they ensure that when they're playing against an Earth Spirit, they have a mid hero that can't really be ganked. And in a way, it neutralizes this hero's presence around the map, and it makes it significantly more difficult for Roger to impact the game like we saw, say, FY's Tusk do yesterday, where all 3 lanes were gankable.
Yeah, how do you actually gank any of these lanes? Like, IO and Gyrocopter, you saw the difficulty when Virtus Pro try and force the issue against them. And maybe later on when you get a higher level up in the Iron Shell, but because ES had to stay on that bottom lane, you've only got that level 2 Iron Shell.
And to that point, there's a Puck in the off lane. So sure, as later levels get up there, Earth Spirit is quite nice against the Puck, but, you know, now, how does a Jug get enough duration on a spin to actually land this kill on Chalice if he doesn't orb preemptively? And as you can see, he actually put 2 point silence at level 3 because he's using that to harass in CS so that he can save the orb in the event he catches, say, a Jakiro slow.
It seems kind of crazy when you have both ES and Jakiro trying to do damage, and you've got that level 1 in the phase shift. Because I suppose Dual Breath doesn't have like this double kind of breathe over the top, so it's very difficult for Puck to dodge. Roger still wants to go in, and now, Silence already out, but the spin starts it off. There goes your Illusionary Orb into the trees, but that's why you hold the Rolling Boulder from Roger. Even gets the kick into X-Nova. TP support's coming in. It's FY. He'll tether up towards Charles, trying to keep the Puck alive, but now you've actually got FY in too deep. It's LGD's turn to over or underestimate that defensive lane.
Sorry, X-Nova, a bit of a caster's curse there. I'm praising his Lion, and then he whiffs a stun. And that is the difference between possibly PSG LGD turning that around versus losing kills in mid lane.
Oh, he's really committing in. No one's got the salve available, so he was kind of fine with this. Oh, okay, maybe not so fine. Tree toss will end up cancelling it.
Yeah, but they have big gyro problems down bottom. I mean, Ame is huge. I like his build as well. Double Wraith into Crown. That means he's probably going to be going for that Drums build. And as soon as you have Drums level 6 on a gyro, you're so strong. And look at this. A rocket on the Darkseer.
They're baiting in mid. But down on bottom, bottom lane can have his fight as well, but the big kill will be if they can actually get this one onto the Tiny. But now TP support comes in from FY, so Pasha does die on the bottom. There's that gyro problem you're talking about. Ice Path splits the field. It's not stopping Tiny from pushing it any further, but he'll just toss back the Dragon Knight into the 3-hero attack with the Breathe Fire. Not enough damage reduction. No one will still end up falling, but with the Ice Path and the kick from Roger, revenge will be onto the Lion.
Oh. Gotta give him a tether, maybe.
There's the tether away. Perfect timing, actually.
Yeah, he took his time. I was like, maybe, come on, your boy's in trouble. But he had to get that CS, and then he wandered over, and FY did get that tether away to safety just in time.
They were just baiting the rolling boulder. That's all it was, right?
Definitely. Yeah, this is cool, though. Very few heroes can be abandoned in an off lane against a Juggernaut, and this is one of the reasons we see this hero picked so much, is that he lane dominates once you give him an advantage, but Chalice is actually winning this lane. 27-13 versus 32-7. I guess I'll call that even, but bear in mind, this is the off lane.
Oh, here they go again. FY. Oh, that's going to be problematic for him.
Yep.
Picked off once again. FY's transition in items is actually kind of important. Like, yeah, he's running Soul Ring, but he's the sustain. He also needs level 6 to bring online that Gyrocopter Global.
Yeah, Soul Ring is so cool on Wisp because you tether somebody and pop it, and then all of a sudden they get the mana but don't lose the health. Also, a lot of passive regen. It's quite nice.
Good Sentry Wood, so Ramses is very much aware that maybe is nearby. Meanwhile, on bottom lane, trouble for the Darkseer, running away, but he cannot do so. The homing missile would have chased him even if Ame's attack didn't connect.
Yeah, and this is the strength of Gyro versus Darkseer. All you have to do is cast the rocket, and if Darkseer doesn't immediately TP, he's forced to flee, but if you're out of position and no one can TP in to save you,
too much damage before you can even complete your TP.
Yeah, it's so much magic damage. The rocket, every Q, which is a 5.5 second cooldown, is effectively how much? 220 times 3, 660 damage per Q. That is so much, Toby.
All right, so it looks like LGD. Overall, they are ahead. Their experience is the bigger lead. 2.2k on the experience compared to the 1k in gold. And a lot of that, like, is now getting back into them as they're taking the stacks mid lane. Rolling boulder in forward, and the kickback is bringing Tiny in range of that tier 1 tower, but support is available. A double stun combining with the avalanche. Ramsey wants to spin in. He never was able to pop off the Omni Flash, but Puck with the Dream Call and the call down. Everyone is held in position, but the Dream Call will wear off, so they don't stay underneath the call down. That's a big TP over from the Gyrocopter, pulling him out of his lane.
It's what you brought up.
Get enough from it.
Yeah, FY, if he doesn't have a couple of those deaths, he's hitting level 6 just about now.
Yep.
If they have relocate available for that coil, that fight is going so much worse for the side of Virtus Pro.
And VP feel the blood. They know there's no big call down available, so they come in with 4 heroes. They're using the Iron Shell damage to burn down X-Nova. They want more of a kill, so they move forward, focus on the IO. No one's doing the job with the stuns, but they still need to get further in. Tiny's making it difficult. This avalanche is just a multi-stun in. Now Ramses will finally join the fight. He'll spin and look for the kill onto FY. Movement speed, FY cannot get away. The Breathe Fire and Dragon Stun, no one's still not certain he wants to be involved in this fight. It's gone so long, you've almost got Dream Call back off cooldown.
Wow.
Oh, what a great toss! It's a burst combination working with the Warning Rift. They're now rolling boulder 2, combining with the Omniside. Gyrocopter is low and brought down. Even a finger out for the Dragon Tail stun. They need to turn their attention over towards the Puck. He's such a huge kill, and Ramses will claim him. This is just a never-ending bloodbath, and they're not done yet. Dive underneath the tower. DK may feel confident enough to do so, but here comes LGD. TP back over. They've got the Dragon Tail stun, but FY is the one who came in. They want the kill on to the Tiny, but with FY here, he's relocating them away. The stun from the Ice Path. FY can't finish the channel. They'll end up getting the kill over on FY. No one's Breathe Fire actually ticks him out, and now they go in again onto Maybe, hiding in the trees. Rogers nearby while Lion goes further to the east. The Breathe Fire from no one will get that one too, and Tiny rolling boulder forward. Juggernaut into the spin. He knew the avalanche was coming. He'll take the creep wave and the kill. And we have just turned this game on.
That is exactly how you play Darkseer, Toby. Remember yesterday when I was a bit upset with the way EG was playing around the hero? This is it. This is vintage VP. They have played Darkseer, Dragon Knight, Juggernaut as a core combination since before this was even the real Virtus Pro, okay? It's the Russia special. You just keep going. divide, and you just swarm. Like, this is it. You have low cooldown spells, a ton of pace, and the tempo, 2-3 minutes pass, and all of a sudden they go from 2k behind to 2k ahead, and it's all just because LGD, you know, they think they can fight this. You really can't. Ion Shell is so powerful at this stage of the game, especially when it's maxed out and you're placing it on all 3 of your friendly heroes, although of course you can't have 3 at all times, but still.
You're starting to also see like damage issues, regeneration room more stolen than anything else by Pasha. But the fact that no one with 3 points up in Dragon Blood, he's tanking through a lot of this. I thought it was going to be the opposite direction with the fact you've got the IO there, you've got the space creation that comes in from both the Puck Dream Call. Here we go once more. They toss the Lion forward, but Ramsey spin TPs, nothing to penetrate that. That was a optimistic Earth Spite. That spin would just magically be 2 seconds less duration.
Yeah, and a couple things to note is that PSG right now, they are all about their cooldowns and burst magical damage. The only sustained physical they're ever going to get is from this gyrocopter, and maybe after he grabs an Echo Saber. But for the time being, if they can't kill someone, as you said, they run out of spells and thus damage. VP, such low cooldowns.
Well, the coach is being caught out. He's a stand-in for Solo, who's feeling sick, but Jakiro can't get himself away from this one. TP scrolls on cooldown. He came in to do an Observer Ward mission, and they're actually pinging. The funny thing is, by him dying, LGD is probably going to commit a Sentry Ward to the mid lane, and they won't actually find the actual ward.
Yeah.
It's the upside of the death.
Indeed, and real quick to note, Dragon Knight, as you can see, queuing up the Radiance. No one was the first player I saw in competitive play go this build. But he's not an amateur, Toby. This is X-Nova we're talking about. You think he plays 5 as the only foreigner in an all-Chinese team that's been #1 in the region for 2 years?
Take another one. Sure,
X-Nova.
Anyway. Why is he even giving him a clap?
Yeah, so
this is the Ward God.
I love this decision from no one. He has 2k HP. He doesn't, you just go Radiance. You have slight damage issues as this game scales, but that mischance on the gyro is not negligible.
Top lane, you'll see the end of the Jakiro. Meanwhile, mid lane's being pushed in. It's a Dark Seer, shelled up creep, the Centaur, who was able to get the stun out. Made it very problematic for LGD to defend.
You're never, as VP, going to be able to go into the mid game and play with more, like, you're going to get initiated on by the side of PSG LGD. They have the Wisp, they have a Puckle by a Blink, they'll have a Tiny and a Lion eventually with Blink. They're going to jump you. So you make it as difficult as possible, the Radiance canceling all those Blinks, and ensuring that you're going to have damage output, even as you tank a ton of abilities. They're the team that's going to have to siege and go high ground with that healing ward. You can just sort of camp in this secure ball and just say, hey, come mess with us.
Yep. I'm liking the build-in from the Juggernaut too. We've seen a couple of different ones. Normally it's actually been the Yasha Battlefield we've liked the most of late. But up against this Puck, you need some way to dispel the silence, potentially even dodging attacks coming your way. He's going directly into Manta style. And thanks to the double damage rune, Ramsey just takes the tier 1 tower on top. So this ends up being a mid tower for a top tower trade-off.
And I like the decision from Arzik as well. I think he'll be playing this Jakiro with max Ice Path. There it is, that 3rd point as expected. It's so good with the Vac. It's you ping, you Vac, there's a stun there already, they're just pulled straight into the Ice Path. And how easy is it to hit a vacuum on a relocate, right?
And Virtus Pro, obviously, they want to try and make it as easy for them. We have kind of brushed over the topic, but keep in mind that Solo has been replaced by their coach due to sickness. So drafting, also, you have to think about it. We give him a really tanky hero. I think Jakiro is actually, when it comes to supports, is one of the greatest strength-gaining supports. So you're going to have a lot of life, even if you have no items.
The entire team is going to be tanky. I mean, double Bracer on the Earth Spirit. As you said, Jakiro, a massive strength gain. I like this idea from VP. How do you counteract burst damage? You ensure that everyone is capable of surviving through that initial onslaught so that they get a round of spells off, hopefully guaranteeing that you're going to take that engagement.
This VP smoke seems to be a little bit, they're not exactly certain where they want to go. Like, Roger's making this move, he doesn't have any Observer Wards on him. There's 2, in fact, Observers and Sentries on the Jakiro. He'll actually grab an Invis Rune and now do this run. And thanks to the Invis Rune, they get the information on the IO and the Gyrocopter. They're sending the Darkseer. Surged in unit. They're looking for the stun. And the creeps are coming out. There's a problem for the Gyrocopter. He's taking way too much damage. But then again, the hexed up Darkseer, he can still run forward, find the Iron Shell burst damage. Same for the Lion. They just return so much when Tiny arrives. Ramsey will be able to get the kill on FY, but does he get out this one scot-free? Starts his spin. Does not actually use the TP. He's holding it. He's got no other teammates here, but he's got Omni-Slash and Bubble. He'll jump over to the creep camp on the side
Yes.
He doesn't do the damage
Okay.
to him, but wait, did
That
he
was
just...
so cool. Yes, you can TP while Omni slashing, Toby, but you can't TP when you're leashed by the puck coil. So even though he's spinning, because he still has that debuff, he's unable to teleport out. But for some unknown reason, that works. Welcome to Dota 2, folks, where nothing makes sense.
That never really happened in the past, right?
No, that was not a thing. It was not a thing.
I remember Ramses was, like, who was it that exploited this? Where they came out, they were attacking tier 4 towers, they were spinning. They came out of Omni Slash spinning as they... It's like, what the hell? Like, next thing you'll be telling me you can actually start picking up, you can pick up Aegises, you can just build a Dagon on this guy and just blast somebody down in the middle of, like, immunity.
Yeah, but how fast? Because I saw that hesitation. He's like, wait, I can't teleport? And his mind, in that half-split second, instead of just feeding, he comes up with this way to ensure he gets out of dodge. A regular Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, if you ask me.
If he actually didn't jump over to the Centaur, then he even had a chance of a kill. Like, a TPing out kill.
Yep. Not bad.
How does that actually work on the timing, too? Like, because if you're Omni-slashing, like, obviously, actually, the TP takes longer anyway, so you wouldn't...
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love this decision from Owen. Like, he's just been farming. He wasn't even in that engagement.
He found the puck. Charles caught him. They want to silence him up so he can't just jump away. Darkseer puts down the wall. They want to get the bonus damage, but now, they couldn't pull him back in time. Puck does get the blink away, and with the Dream Coil, they're thinking about more of a fight, but you're on Dire side of the river, so they surge Earth Spirit forward. The Observer Sentry let them know the Tiny and the Lion moved over. Earth Spirit can tank this because the double bracer, but everyone's away.
Already, Dragonite picking up the Radiance. This is how Virtus.pro loves to play. That engagement around the top shrine and Radiant side, no one had no intention of ever arriving, and that's how VP love to play around EV. They'll take this fight 4-on-5 knowing that even if they lose or trade unfavorably, they guaranteed have one of their cores fast farming for an essential item that's going to rapidly improve the speed that he farms. And look at PSG LGD. Like, they have the Sanjin Yasha, they have the Shadow Blade on the Tiny, but BKB is full. Like, you don't have BKBs for a while. And this is Virtus.pro. It's time to go. And we're going to get to see one of the best teams in the world play with a ton of pace, starting probably right about now.
But they're also playing against one of the best teams in the world, grand finalists. They will fight back. They will look for great positioning. And Tiny's going to look for that big burst damage himself, building into an Echo Saber. So Shadow Blade into point blank range. Kills on these very tanky heroes may actually be possible.
Here comes the smoke. Can feel it.
They macro pyring, pushing mid, but Pasha was still in the river. He was in vision of the creep wave as he smoked up. So maybe not the greatest thing the VP ever did.
And I love the way they're itemizing. I know I've been harping on this a lot, but in this patch, it's just so important. You have the Earth Spirit going for the Vlads, okay? Just continuing to tank up. He wants to get these items that help his team, but he has to ensure he has his own survivability. This frees up the Darkseer now. He went Arcanes, HOD, and he'll be buying the Pipe. These are critical items, and it allows the side of Virtus.pro to be confident that they should probably be able to win team fights for at least the next 5 to 10 minutes. That level 15 on Wisp and the BKB Gyro, those are going to be the timings that LGD is looking to play around.
And you can see LGD also, like, you're talking about this team fight time that VP won. LGD, they knew the smoke was coming, they pushed in the bottom lane, and then they TP'd everyone out. They didn't even look for the kill. There was a potential bait, but they didn't want to bite. Even their tier 2 tower on bottom lane, it's not going to matter for them. They look for a counter push up on top and refuse to give VP what they want, which is a fight underneath the radiance of the DK.
But remember, this is Jakiro, DK, Juggernaut. You have a lot of staying power, and bear in mind, PSG LGD, they have some spells they can throw out, sure, but if you don't kill one of these targets on the side of Virtus.pro, they're just going to regen to full thanks to the healing ward, and you need to now wait to reload as they hit your buildings.
They're going up. It's 20 minutes into the game. In this meta, that's actually not that uncommon to push up. But with Dragon Knight form, the healing ward behind him, they throw down defensive sentry ward just in case that Tiny wants to come forward underneath the cover of Shadow Blade. A Puck Orb, no Dream Coil. There was a 4-man potential, but there's just no follow-up. Not without the Tiny being there.
I like it, though. It's pressure. You ensure the status quo is maintained. Now you're going to immediately swarm the other side of the map. And bear in mind, the blink on Dragon Knight, then they can actually look to start making some plays. I think next DK form, maybe look to force a Roche or be content with a tier 2. But it's all about, again, this pace from Virtus.pro.
But I still love the way LGD plays around it. This Observer ward that's been sitting just south of the tier 2 tower up on top. It's in the dire jungle. They just see so much of the movements of Virtus Pro.
Yep.
And then you got another warder that just timed out in the bottom river, on the bottom lane, and it was seeing the movement of like VP pushing the bottom. So LGD knows how strong is Virtus Pro. They're coming as 4. We move to the other side. We farm up other camps. We get these critical items.
Yep. They're doing a great job too. Don't get me wrong. It's just right now VP is certainly stronger on the map, but they aren't confident enough to force yet. You need pipe, you need Vlads, and you need some sort of initiation tool. That's where the blink comes in. And once we hit that point, I think they'll have the critical mass necessary to be more confident actually forcing and finding that engagement. PSG LGD.
There's the blink. It's also going to work with the control once they get the Sunquist diffuser blades on the Juggernaut.
Yep. It's the highest DPS build you can go for with this much gold. Manta into Diffusal. Obviously, Battle Fury helps you scale faster, but this means he's ready to go right now.
Yep.
Your big target for both sides, you want to take out X-Nova and the Wisp, whereas I am not really sure who you can go for on the side of Virtus Pro. They're all so tanky.
Yeah. Like, you could try and, well, then
It's probably the Jug. It's really the Jug. If you can find a way to initiate with the Lion specifically, or maybe a tiny toss back into Hex, that's ideal.
Actually, they changed on the Juggernaut. He did buy a full diffuser blade, but now he's got a Maelstrom.
Okay, that's just to help him scale a bit more, and it was actually the Shadow build, who unfortunately is not playing today either. I don't, well, never mind, Liquid Boss, sorry. That was a mistake.
He doesn't have to play for today, but yes, he's resting. He's not pining for the fields. Roshan now going to be beginning from Virtus Pro. Puck will scout it out. The Illusionary Orb will fly into the pit. It only damages on the Juggernaut, but they're keeping the healing ward on the far side, so they cannot actually get rid of this regeneration.
And this is Darkseer Jakiro in the pit, Toby.
Yep.
How do you initiate? VP, come to us.
Oh, here they come.
We're ready.
Gyrocopter, the call down's down. Same with the Dream Core. They don't want to move away. The spins out, and Jakiro does go down. They're fighting inside the macro pile, however. Remember, Roshan is the primary target. 600 HP, and then it stuns Virtus Pro. They just got wrecked. They still want to try and fight it out, however. ES goes in. Roger, he actually got the kill and the Aegis, the Immortal on Roshan. So it's something, but they didn't kill anyone from LGD.
Dude, that was perfectly played from the side of LGD. I didn't click on Gyro. He has the Black King bar. He just runs in. You can't actually target him. He drops all his spells. They get pure vision in the fight, and he just kills the supports himself. In the meantime, Puck is initiating, gets off his spells. Dagon, Veils, gets away. You have no BKBs on the side of Virtus Pro. And then Tiny maybe does a great job just, you know, coming in to finish those kills at the end. Unfortunately, they don't get the Aegis, but they just broke this game wide open.
And that's that whole movement from the Juggernaut, I thought it was going to be stronger. It's like, okay, the Rift came in, Mana Style like gets out of it, but you still... he spun defensively. There's no like attack. How do you even play that when you're the Juggernaut in that fight? Do you want to go straight into an Omni Slash and try and find a kill on a Gyrocopter who's got BKB up and is already feeling pretty good with the Wisp?
Exactly. That's the downside of the Jug, is that you're a burst damage carry. If you can negate or prevent or make him feel like Omni Slash isn't something he wants to use, the hero really doesn't do any damage. And bear in mind, Gyrocopter at this point now is going to start scaling exponentially. His next item is going to be a Butterfly, and Wisp is level 15. All of a sudden, you have a free Aghanim Scepter just hanging out in that 7th slot.
Sure. Make the Gyrocopter even stronger. This is looking very, very good for LGD. You'll see the graph start to move up. It's the experience graph, which I actually find more fascinating than anything else. Got by 4K, but look at that rise up to 12,000, but it was always going the way of LGD. This is that control of the map. That's why, like, when you're singing the VP praises, you're right, the momentum could have easily swung it around a VP with the aggressors, but fighting around the Roche Pit, LGD just made the best of it.
I can't believe how fast they've been farming. Like, it's like 3-4 minutes pass, and all of a sudden there's a full Black King bar, and now all of a sudden he's got an Eagle Song. Like, this is the strength of IO Gyro. You feel like you can game plan for it, you give it away, and you don't feel like the game is out of hand, and then in just a moment, you're just like, oh shit. That's why people pick it all the time, eh?
But you've still got momentum issues a little bit for LGD. The side lanes are being pushed in by Virtus Pro. The bottom tier 3 tower is already down to almost half of its own life, and that was only from Juggernaut Manta. He's pushing out the side lanes, and this is that scaling item where you're maybe even happier that Juggernaut did get it. He did get the Maelstrom, so farming is more efficient because he doesn't have the Battle Fury.
Yeah. Look at this positioning from X-Nova.
He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so it's hard to get the instant jump. But that's why you have the tiny observer wards down. They'll see Ramses move forward. What they don't know is that Roger's nearby, so they go for the jump in. The spin, X-Nova, he started to go for the finger of death, but he did not get it off in time. Ramses will heal up, X-Nova will go down, and that was a split-second moment he was just behind on.
Yeah, I love the play from Maybe there, though, or he cuts his losses immediately. He was never going to give out more than the stun toss combo after he broke the Shadow Blade with the Echo Saber hit. He's not committing. He's just doing max damage in the combo, and I'm out of here. Because you know that there's going to be a response.
Maybe they're already thinking like, okay, we go for this. I'm accepting that Lion's the casualty to stop Ramses from farming. So even if it is a 1-for-1 trade-off, this is still what LGD wanted.
If it's a 1-for-1, you're super happy. If not, it was just the Lion, whatever. And Modoa continues to farm. He's looking to get his BKB next. And for this stage of the game, Gyrocopter is king. You're the side of VP, you're going to need a lot of big items. And God, I don't know if you'll get him fast enough.
Like, what do you even do if you're Ramses? He's going to build into a Blink Dagger next, but you need to get an MKB. You need to be able to truly hit into this Gyrocopter.
It's tough. It's very tough to
that. And now Vlad's is also onto the IO. So the auras are getting better for LGD. Not that they're really looking to build into that. But it's that to sustain that the eye is going to give over.
And the combination with the puck as well. I love the build from Chalice. Veil, Dagon, just, you know, that synergy with your 15% spell amp talent is crazy. And you just go straight for the Ags. What better to keep people in place for the Gyrocopter flak to hit them than a coil that lasts for 8 seconds and cannot be broken even if you have a BKB?
Can you Omni Slash out of it?
I think maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that'd be the only thing that would actually save the core.
That's an interesting question because technically Juggernaut is invulnerable during his Omni Slash phase.
But it's like if he moves out of it, does he get stunned and then she pulls him out of his Omni Slash?
Well, I don't think it would pull him out of his Omni Slash, but maybe afterwards? I don't know.
We'll ask Fog about it. Relocate's coming in. There's just a quick kill on Roger. He was trying to do the side lane push. Now VP want to try and do something on this. Jakiro a little bit too far up. Can't get the Ice Path down. Knows the Relocate's coming in, so the Ice Path is already down. It does still have over on the IO, and Juggernaut Omni Slash. He doesn't actually kill off FY! 7 HP! FY is able to survive. Double buyback coming in from Virtus Pro. They really want to find this kill. Lion's gone off to the east. That's the easier one to go for, and that's the one they'll take. But again, double buybacks. You still get the kills. You lose the Lion. Nothing of value is lost.
I mean, I've been talking a lot about the pace of Virtus Pro, but I mean, Wisp needs no real explanation.
I can't believe the jump luck, though. The jump luck. One more hit. He bounced back into the rest of LGD.
Hey man, you ever play Dota chess? RNG is a big part of every game. 7
HP, man. 7 HP on the IO. Where's your... Come on!
Well, 7. It wasn't like it was 1 health. He had at least 6.
A lightning bounce. Something like that would have killed him.
Yeah.
Virtus Pro, they're trying to make the most of the situation. They're running in towards the mid.
What?
ES, he's baiting. Tiny comes out. ES, well, this bait, one charge will come out, but then again, Roger's already dead. 71 seconds down, you'll get the Dagon kill. Jakiro is down for pretty much the same amount of time. This may just be LGD going mid and taking racks.
Yeah, I love the way that they're playing this game. It's just all around Ame. He runs in as your star, and everyone else just kind of hanging out on the outskirts. Puck will go in, cast a round of spells, immediately get out. Maybe has a blink and a Shadow Blade along with the phase boots. Like, they can just get in, get out. It's guerrilla warfare, and Virtus Pro, like, they're trying to beat LG at their own game, but it feels like they just don't have the heroes or the items that are able to contest. Gyrocopter is a butterfly, and he's more than halfway to a Satanic already.
They're going in. It's going to point out the fact that Juggernaut Omni Slash is on cooldown for 10 seconds time. He bought Blink Dagger, so there's no buyback available. Noah's doing the best he can with the Darkseer Wall combination to just push back the Gyrocopter with a Breathe Fire. The damage output of the Gyrocopter is nowhere near as much as he would really like it to be. So this high ground defense from Virtus Pro, it can hold without the supports.
The downside they have at the moment is that if, this right here, they're coming back, the Ags is ready, and all of a sudden you can't heal, you can't do anything. You've just got to sit there and take what Ame comes to give you. And I don't know if any of these heroes can handle it.
He's just going to mantra an Omni. Like, that's gotta be what happens. Ramses jumps up. He is instantly silenced. Does not want to go for the Omni Slash, but that's why you get the Dragon Tail stun out over on the puck. Pasha coming in. A great Ice Path. They have to keep the puck controlled and bring him down. Able to do so. A minute on cooldown. No one now caught on the wrong side of the tracks. You've got maybe in there. Avalanche will create so much time with the toss-up, and DK does go down. The finger of death gave just enough damage to do so. Io popped up in the back lines by Ramses, but Buyback can relocate forward. He'll be there to support the rest of his team. Poor coach, bye coach. And the LGD will push high ground. Everyone's up bar the puck, while VP have 3 in the grave without Buyback, and it's their big D pusher. It's the DK who's down. Is that why they creep? Is actually Ramses grabbed the creep wave? They really don't have the creep wave. They can't push in. Pasha's doing the same thing up on top lane. He's just surging himself away, and they can't even go high ground because VP are delaying.
It's the little things, Toby. VP super outmatched thus far in these later engagements. The win probability for PSG LGD possibly approaching. Whoa! That is not what I thought it would be. I'm glad I didn't get a chance to finish that thought.
Like the win probability though was so heavily in favor of Virtus Pro for most of this game.
True. This is the DK factor though. He wasn't even level 20 for that engagement, Toby. And once he has that, he'll get a bonus 13 health regen and 12 armor. And there's no real Silver Edge threat unless maybe chooses to pick that up. And he's going to go AC instead.
Does anyone ever go the plus 150 on a DK? Like, is items going to help you more than that Dragon Blood?
If you're ever in a scenario where you're dying to magic damage alone and or you're going to be against multiple Silver Edges, perhaps, but it just takes so long for that GPM talent to become effective. This is a game you could possibly get away with it. But I don't think so. I don't. It's like 10% of the time.
Dream Call over on the Dragon Knight. They want to save him. Darkseer has got both Pipe and Crimson Guard to protect the Dragon Knight. Not to mention his surged up Centaur, looking for the stun, combining with the Ice Path. They've got Lion in the back lines, so they can remove this control factor.
Yeah.
While the rest of LGD, 4 heroes together. DK wants more. Blinks on cooldown. They're running forward. Look for that Earth Spirit. Does he have a rock? Does he have a kick? He's not going to use it. They look towards Roshan instead, but still on the timer. 1 minute until he will spawn. But Dragon Knight, blink forward. He's going for FY. They want to get this kill on the Io. Remove the support. Omni Sight as well. FY, the Ghost is protecting him. The Io will bounce back out and will be brought down. He'll get the mech off and the heal. No one copped so much damage. He wants to get out of the cooldown. Able to do so with the Breeze Fire. They're actually living. The healing was, you said, Puck will finally kill it off, but the Gyrocopter, his BKB, now he'll burn it with the Satanic. So much sustain, so much life. The Tiny, however, he's also stunned up. The DK showing his own sustain back under the shrine to where LGD feel like they're meant to be safer, but they can't do it. Puck, rolling boulder, they found him in the tree.
Wow.
Virtus Pro, one by one, they just bounce from target to target, and now it's LGD who don't have buybacks. They don't even have the Rax advantage because Virtus Pro delayed it previously.
It's just like you said though, the Breathe Fire, once the BKB goes down on the Gyrocopter, that's all your physical damage on the side of PSG LGD, and he leveled up to 20 right as that fight went down, and now you have a Dragon Knight with so much health regen and armor, he's not a real target.
And it's the combo with the Crimson Guard. It got completed just before the fight began, so you got damage reduction on multiple fronts, and the healing wall that you mentioned as well in the fight, they never reached it. No one wants to be aggressive. They're taking the bottom melee racks. The mid tower's been taken by creeps at the same time, and 3 heroes down. How much damage can Virtus Pro do?
I think you might want to. I don't know.
Do they back
Roche is up. Roche is up. I think you get tier 2 and you get the hell out of here.
You maybe even take the shrine.
No. You got to fight around Roche. Maybe top shrine if they're not trying to force Roche right now. I don't think they have the damage to go for it. Get bounties. They've just spawned. You do have a DD rune bottom. That could be huge for an engagement.
They're going for the bounties. Shakira's going for the bottom ones. Darkseer will take out top. Radiant are scanning. Now, Roger actually walked in range of the pit and triggered the scan, but now that it goes green again, maybe LGD don't think they're properly committing to it.
Look at the net worths, bear in mind. Tiny and Puck, they still do the same amount of damage that they were dealing at 20 minutes, okay? Yeah, maybe a little more auto attack damage on that Echo Saber proc, but it's all the gyro. If you can control him, reduce his damage, make him run away, make him chase you.
Look at Gyro's answer. They want the Aegis Immortal, but he's got a Rapier in the quick buy.
They're having damage problems. That's an answer.
Over. Tiny, he saw the DK. Dragon Form comes up pretty quickly. They need some extra control. Earthspirit is trying to provide it, but DK just focus. And the Dream Call. They committed to actually kill off Earthspirit, so Roger will go down. He doesn't have buyback. DK does. But this will probably pretty much guarantee the Roshan for LGD.
You get a Rax first. You can have plenty of time, maybe even 2 Racks if you find time for top.
You've got to get through Macro Pyre. Like, it's such a great D push. This creep wave, at least it's got catapults in it, so it'll survive to get up, but then Ice Path, that's an interesting one, won't stun anybody. Buyback does come in from the DK. He wants to breathe fire the Gyrocopter, but they already proved that they can burn through his life. So Rax for Rax will end up being this trade-off unless they can keep that melee up. Gyrocopter? Nah, he's got it. A denial was attempted by Ramsey.
This is cool though, because Toby, what that did is guarantees that they only give that one Rax away, and now Roshan is no longer an objective for PSG LGD.
It's
a really cool decision, exactly, because it forced LGD to choose. Do we want a Rax or do we want Roshan? That's all VP's willing to give you, because if you were to give 2 out of those 3 objectives, it could become very problematic to ever take that fight. Whereas now, you're still confident this is an even game, and we know what we've got to do to win these engagements. But I still feel like PSG LGD, the Gyro's just so farmed at this point.
Yep.
It's just an easier game for them to play.
Like, is this even the point where you look at the Gyrocopter and say, okay, he actually finished up the MKB before buying the Rapier? But I was thinking, if LGD feel confident enough and they can get that Roshan, you can just switch into the Rapier, and then there's overconfidence Gyrocopter, and damage the VP cannot stop.
You're talking about damage output. AC, that's a 10 armor swing. The MKB, as you said, already picked up just because no one is going halberd, right?
Yep.
It's already countered even before that item could be completed.
They're in the pit. There's no dire observe ward that sees this, but
They're smoked under the ward. They know they're smoked.
Yep. Ark already using his orb to back away, and Virtus.pro, where do you want to fight? Tiny's blocking from the tree line. Roshan, he's almost dead. He's down to 1/3 of his life. Lion moves forward under the cover of Glimmer Cape, so any initiation would have been pretty naught, and they will actually claim it. Roshan is already dead. They did it so quickly without committing an IO. Gyrocopter, there's the attack. He'll come out. The only side the damage is high. 1 kill over on the Lion. FY, he's so low. Ramses will find him as well. I can't believe how much damage Virtus.pro are actually doing. I was expecting once that Dream Call came out, the LGD would have no other power, but Gyro still stands his ground, working with the Tiny, and this is now the sustained damage that they have available. Darkseer cancelling his TP. They turn to actually break the Aegis, the Immortal. Gyrocopter, he's got Satanic. He ain't in trouble. Maybe they actually go over the top. That's Juggernaut. He's having its own battle in the back lines. Randy is able to get the kill onto Maybe, and Gyrocopter isolated. The Aegis will pop, and they go for another target. It's the Lion. I think he actually wants back to be involved in this fight. They don't see him thanks to the Glimmer Cape, but now they go for the real target. The Gyrocopter is a 5-on-1 beatdown. This is real tag team without Tuskar. Virtus.pro, they get another buyback now out in the Gyrocopter, and they're looking to get a counter Rax down mid.
VP buys back so fast, you forget that they died. I saw Pasha die, and 5 seconds later, I swear he was on top of the Gyrocopter. And Ame, his target selection, he keeps getting distracted by no one. He kills Pasha, but then he's back. Ramses, in the meantime, is killing everybody with the assistance of Roger. You've killed another tier 3.
Chalice.
The Aegis is gone.
He's dodged out, able to get a Dream Call over on 3. They'll be held there, but there's no cooldown. There's no flat cannon. There's no aggression. The timing is not right, so BKB out from Gyrocopter. He'll burn it again, but this will give VP more confidence to pushing.
Blink Omni Slash in 20 seconds. DK form in 20 seconds. VP, they're not even ready to really fight this, but they're still willing to pressure. But you've got to be careful on the side of LGD. If your Gyro dies, this is GG.
They fortified a little bit early, so the creep wave actually got mopped up by some of the abilities of Virtus.pro, but they keep the Rax alive. That blink you said, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and watch the IO. You know that's the target to come in from Ramses. If they can get some information, Sentry Wards are currently covering it up, but they see where the IO tether is, but they're all grouped up together. Call down, but it's a great ice path. Gyro and IO caught together. Virtus.pro still don't feel the confidence to go up. The BKB's on cooldown of Gyro for 24 more seconds, but they're returning. It's the 40-minute bounty rune.
Exactly, and that's what makes this Virtus.pro so much better than previous Virtus.pros, because they are always aware of their timings, of what's happening around the map, and playing the game to, I don't know what to. I was
kind of wondering too, like with the absence of Solo, if you'd still have this focus. He's their drafter, he's their captain. Who's making these calls in game?
Look, Ramsey said no one. This game should have proven by now that they are the real deal. They've been top Dota players for at least 2 years now, and I gotta say, like this Jug build, that Blink Dagger, I questioned it. You think it's a bit weird, but now, especially after the Nullifier pickup, how many times has Ramses found that proper Omni Slash to kill a Lion, to kill a Wisp? He understands that he needs that mobility, because if he just Omni Slashes blindly on, say, a Tiny with 45 armor or a Gyro with a Wisp tether, it's going to do nothing, especially when you consider the Satanic. But he's trading that big ability for real kills.
And Virtus.pro are doing so well. I actually love the fact, too, you bring up the fact that Ramses is a smart player. I remember actually hearing that there's not many players from Virtus.pro that talk during the draft, but Ramses is one of them. He may look young, he may be blocked by knees.
He is young.
He is very young. Like, very young, but he's still involved in this. He understands the game. He understands the way to play it, and
yeah, he's similar.
It's still only making an even game. Like we're not saying like, hey, Virtus Pro, we bow down before you. There is no advantage when it comes to gold. There's little advantage when it comes to experience, and both teams are still one lane of racks up.
The problem you have on the side of PSG LGD is that no one is really scaling except for Ame, and he's run out of item slots. The Rapier is going to change things.
He'll have to take the boots out and just put the Rapier in.
And bear in mind, like the Dragon Knight and the Jug are both huge sources of damage for the side of VP. And yeah, sure, Pasha, he's a Darkseer, but that wall vac, like if he gets a gyro illusion, that's 100% damage on a gyro just suddenly hitting enemies. Or sorry, his own allies? But yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I get you. Like, yeah, he turns against his own kind, is what you're trying to say. It's almost that point. It's like, maybe I get the Aghanims upgrade. Darkseer.
If you could use flak, it would be better. Like, that's a change I'd love to see. It's
what Aghanim said
you get to use. Yeah, exactly. And then you have like the wall vac, and you've got to tap micro like Brewlings to cast all their spells.
Okay, you've done too many events with Sir Action Slacks. You're starting to go wild, Kyle.
Hey man, maybe I'd be a beta tester.
That'll happen when players. Oh, Ramses.
He's got a double damage.
Yeah, he's got a double damage, and they push the creep wave in through bottom. LGD is not there to defend. They just took a free melee racks in mid. That's LGD returning. They were all sitting up on top looking for a fight under their Observer Sentry.
Remember, this was all set up a few minutes ago, right? When they pushed mid, but didn't have the ability necessarily to force that fight, they didn't want to engage in base, they still got Glyph. And that means they go back, they get bounty runes, they're refreshing, they push waves, they get a couple more items, and now you have that free racks, all because of that initial engagement.
Do you see the item the Darkseer is building? I love this. He's going for an E-Blade.
Yeah.
With the BKB down to 5 seconds on the gyrocopter, cancelling his attacks during the flat cannon, during his satanic, is going to be the primary thing. Then there's no damage from LGD.
They have, and that's what I love about like the halberd. Both of the big cores on the side of VP picked up single target items that will disable and or prevent the gyro from dealing damage. And that's so key because that protects their squishier supports. And bear in mind, you have a Glimmer on Jakiro, BKB on Earth Spirit to ensure that he fears nothing when it comes to the entire team of PSG LGD with the exception of Ame's auto attacks. They cover one another.
Love watching this Juggernaut run around with a nullifier. Like, he doesn't care about anyone. He'll jump in and go, okay, Puck, what do you want to do? Yep. What do you want to do? Even gyrocopter. No items can be used. It's terrific. But Virtus Pro still need the initiation.
And the AoE surge.
With the gem pickup, that's why he's up on the hill. They'll get rid of Observer and Sentry. This is going to make the map very, very dark for LGD.
My favorite thing to do in Dota nowadays, I've always loved Darkseer, but it's just at this stage of a game, I just make us all run as 5 and AoE surge. And you don't necessarily got to do that, but I think Jug and DK will see at some point just pasted, double blinked into base, and wreaking havoc.
The surge, everything. I love how the creep wave's included in this as well. All right, boys, we need to push the wave really quickly. I have a plan. It's a cunning plan, Baldric.
And now, bear in mind, we haven't really seen it yet, but there's always the threat of the huge wall vac. You have no BKB on the Puck. The Tiny, who also, bear in mind, is now your key target for the wall vac because you get that AC aura, and a Tiny illusion is very formidable. You do not kill it very easily, and that means you get that aura, and it just negates that 5,000 plus gold that may be spent on his own.
Rapia is now up. Gyrocopter even sold the boots. He ain't holding on to anything. It's a little confidence just in case he drops that. But watch the buyback timings. Like, his is on cooldown for the moment, and he's short by 2.4k.
I mean, you got all in at that point, though.
It's the fastest rapier of the event, but okay. It's what Gyro needs. So the damage output, 167 plus 513. It's no GH. He's 7 short of that, but...
and I think you smoke here if you decide to PSG LGD. You don't want to reveal the rapier if you can help it. Or, well, I guess, never mind.
Hey, boys! I got a rapier!
Maybe they did, you know? Maybe intimidation
Hey, Juggernaut, Mr. Nullifier, come at me, bro. Dominated Creep, the Satyr Burner, was sitting inside Roshan. It's watching for the spawn time. Now we're actually going to find out when Roshan spawns. It's now. It's up. Both teams do not know, however, because LGD left the pit before they got the information.
This is...
Pasha can't dominate another creep for 15 seconds, then he can check it out. but the lanes are pushing in. Bottom lane's always pressuring in. Darkseer's got the mid lane always going in as well.
And bear in mind, for this upcoming engagement, yeah, sure, VP is ahead by 4K, but take a look at the current gold of their heroes. You've got buyback on Virtus Pro, but they're down that big item. They both have an empty slot they could be using.
Gyrocopter, he looks so tantalizing. Observers and sentries. Ramsey's going to break his smoke to get that, and now Gyrocopter, he starts the homing missile up. Ramsey just backing up. There's your AoE surge. Virtus Pro just want to back up. Man, I feel like I'm watching Centaur Aghanims just being triggered so easily when they're so together. But being together makes them vulnerable to Puck. Yep. Now Roshan's finally scouted, and Virtus Pro will watch their damage output. How quick can they get it? Refresher shard, orbs. Here comes the illusionary. It'll scout it out. The healing ward is inside the pit, but Virtus Pro don't want to be caught here. Tiny gets the avalanche toss off, but only on the Darkseer. Where's the wall? Now the Omniside. FY really vulnerable. The Gyro, he actually goes down. Gyrocopter just lost his teammate, and Ramses wants to go for more. DK stunned up for the moment, but they move down. They want the Gyrocopter. They need to remove this rapier, but Tiny creates in space. He stops to actually pick up a tree, and in that time, stunned up, brought down. Oh boy, LGD, problematic, but they still have the Gyrocopter, but they will not have Roshan.
Just beautiful play by the side of Virtus Pro. It's target selection. They're finding Wisp consistently in these engagements, and as soon as he goes down, Ame no longer has the confidence to stand and fight.
They're chasing X-Nova. He's trying to use the Glimmer Cape. TP, the rolling boulder. It's a little bit too far away, but Darkseer has the vac. They will kill off Lion. He'll actually have a moment. He'll be able to Glimmer Cape up for a second, and they've already burnt the dust from Roger trying to find him, but they knew where he was, and you can just feel around in the dark.
Oh, for sure.
I feel a demonish
thing. Something there. You killed him. He fought back immediately, however, as did Maybe, and the only heroes that died were the ones with buyback on the side of PSG LGD, with the exception of course, FY. He bought an Aeon disc thinking this might help him out, but alas, it did not. Now you have a buyback on the Gyro now, but will that matter if he loses the Rapier? Probably not.
This is the all or nothing right now. You need the hits to come. Funny enough, Puck actually uses Illusionary Orb to go further backwards, and now he's TPing forward. I'm uncertain what that's all about, as now the call down flat cannon. Ramsey tanks through. Remember, he's got the Aegis the Immortal.
That was so sick from Roger. Like, he trades his BKB for Gyrocopters. You're happy with that? You have double Halberd now as well. How will Gyro do DPS?
There goes the fortification. Dream Call. It's nice. It actually snapped. They jump in. They'll break the Aegis Immortal, plus the big spam out with the Avalanche. They'll find the extra kill as well. Onto the Dragon Knight, and he'll get it off. He just turned back into the Knight, who's actually able to eat cheese, and then the Omniside. The toss down, but it brings FY and Ame closer together. They can tank through the Omniside. Gyrocopter, Titanic, the regeneration is high with the flat cannon. It's doing so much work. VP will take a lot of hits, but the Rapier, it dropped down. Where is it? Who's got it?
Ramsey's got it. Are you kidding me? He had that immediately.
He's away too, but they relocate up. They look for him, but he's in the trees. He actually TP's out. They didn't find him. He'll get away with Rapier theft.
Now my question is, you just drop it on the ground? Pull a lonely island?
No, you're Ramses. You have the confidence. You just go for it, but my God. They relocated at just the exact position they needed to be, but Ramsey slipped him to the trees before they could find him. You could see the power from Ame. He actually stayed alive with the IO. They were able to have the tether, just this never-ending flat cannon damage, which meant the Virtus Pro did not claim that top lane of Rax.
Yeah, and it's just, you just can't do it. It's not enough damage, Toby. We talked about this. The Puck and the Tiny, they're great in the mid game, but they've started to fall off pretty hard.
They were so close, though. They were so close. That DK was on maybe 100 HP. Maybe.
Close, but alas, close only counts with horseshoes and hand grenades, Toby.
What? Okay.
What?
I can get the hand grenade, but what?
Horseshoes, you get points. You get points if you're like touching it, but you don't actually make it. So you're close.
Okay. Wait, are we actually counting this Juggernaut? I don't think we actually count that. It can't be a new record for a Juggernaut with the Rapier
that doesn't count.
When he stole it. There's no way that counts. All right, SAP, we have some feedback for you.
Maybe the ends justify the means. All right, this is it. I think this is. I don't know if this is the right move, the wrong move for the side of PSG LGD. It's a difficult scenario.
They could, maybe they were thinking like maybe they catch someone else.
Look at what's queued up though from the Gyro. I mean, this is what you've got to do.
It's another one. It's just straight rapier back in again.
They need damage. They do not have the damage, and I love how no one's played this, though. It doesn't feel like every single fight somehow he's the one that's being targeted.
Yep.
This is a 3,500 HP, 39 armor target.
Wait until he hits 25.
True.
Wait until you get the plus 40 strength.
He might go for the stun duration in this game.
Really?
Yeah, just because it's more single target lockdown. If you just CC
But
Ahmed...
now they go on him. Maybe he doesn't.
Oh, the toss out!
They toss him in. The Dragon Knight. And with the rapier, the damage is so high. The DK is down 100 seconds. He can buy back into this fight. The Tiny, he's been brought down by the Magnetize for the Gyrocopter. This is the fight they wanted. Under Vision with the Gyrocopter. Tested up by FY. But where is his damage? The Ice Mask control is so good. The Gyrocopter, they actually disarm him so he can't attack back over. And now the Omnislash. A triple kill. The second rapier down. And that should be the game. An ultra kill in for Ramses. They can finish the job with X-Nova in the trees. But FY calls good game, well played, Virtus Pro. What a game, 52 minutes. It's so like both sides, both teams made amazing decisions, amazing plays, but Virtus Pro. I won a game for the first time in forever. That's the coach standing in.